My beloved, open your ears and your heart. I want to tell you something today that will shake the dust off your discernment. There are people around you, walking with you, smiling in your face, maybe even eating at your table, but deep in their hearts, they are not celebrating you. They are silently irritated by your presence. They are not clapping for your progress. They are clenching their teeth behind closed doors. And you, child of God, must awaken to the signs that someone is secretly jealous of you. This isn't about suspicion, it's about spiritual awareness. God gives His chosen ones discernment, not just to survive, but to thrive. You cannot walk through this life blind to the schemes that surround you. You must be able to detect when envy is wrapping itself in fake kindness, when jealousy is dressing up like friendship, when hatred is hiding behind politeness. The enemy doesn't always come with horns and fire. Sometimes the enemy comes with flattery on the tongue and poison in the heart. And God is calling you to see it. God does not allow His beloved to walk into traps unprepared. He equips, He warns, and He speaks through situations, actions, and silence. And if you walk closely with Him, you will begin to notice things that words don't say. You'll sense that strange tension when someone pretends to admire you but secretly hopes you fall. You'll feel that uncomfortable energy when your blessings make them uncomfortable. That is not coincidence. That is the presence of jealousy. And God wants you to know you are not imagining it. Jealousy is real. Envy is dangerous. And it does not rest until it brings chaos. But here's the truth. Your light irritates their darkness. Your favor threatens their insecurity. Your peace disturbs their restlessness. You carry something God ordained, and it reveals what they lack. So instead of confronting you directly, they shrink into secret bitterness. They gossip. They compete in silence. They mock your efforts under their breath. But you must not be shaken. You must not let their darkness dim your light. God is with you, and He never allows a hidden enemy to remain hidden forever. Sooner or later, He will expose what you cannot see. But before that day comes, He wants you to walk in wisdom. Understand this. When someone is jealous, they might never admit it. They may never say it out loud, but their actions will scream it. God will open your eyes to see the little signs, the subtle sarcasm, the backhanded compliments, the lack of support when you're winning, the silence when you rise. These are not small things. These are warning signs. And when you notice them, don't ignore them. Take it to God. Ask Him for clarity, not confrontation. Ask Him for direction, not retaliation. Because not every battle is yours to fight. Some battles belong to the Almighty alone. He knows how to bring truth into the light. He knows how to deal with hearts that harbor hate. You just stay faithful, stay focused, and stay close to Him. Jealousy is a disease, and it often disguises itself well. But no matter how well it hides, it cannot stand in the presence of divine light. And that light is on you. That presence is with you. That power is protecting you. And when God's hand is on your life, even the secret enemies will have no choice but to fall back. They may plot in silence, but God hears every whisper. They may scheme behind your back, but God sees every motive. You do not walk alone, child of God. And when you begin to recognize these signs, do not let your heart grow bitter. Grow wiser, grow stronger, grow deeper in God. Because this battle is not about people, it's about the spirit behind them. And the more you rise, the more they will react. But the more they react, the more God will reveal. And when God reveals, He does not miss. There is a reason God tells you to guard your heart, for from it flows the wellspring of life. When someone is secretly jealous of you, their energy will subtly try to contaminate your spirit. They'll pretend to support you, but you'll feel the weight of their unease when good things happen to you. They may not speak against you outright, but they will withdraw, delay their congratulations, or change the subject when you talk about your progress. Why? Because the human heart, when it strays from the remembrance of God, becomes a breeding ground for jealousy. And jealousy, when unchecked, grows into silent hatred. That hatred wears a mask of politeness, but boils with resentment. That is why God teaches His people to stay vigilant, not paranoid, but prayerful. You must ask God not only to bless you, but to give you the discernment to recognize those who are hiding a bitter spirit behind a smiling face. And let me tell you something even deeper. Jealousy doesn't always come from far away. Often it comes from those closest to you, from family, from friends, from people you once confided in. And the pain cuts deeper when it comes from those you trusted. But even in that betrayal, God is working. Even in that heartbreak, God is revealing what your eyes could not see and your ears could not hear. He is showing you who truly walks with you for who you are and who walks with you for what you can give. The moment you no longer fit their expectation, their mask begins to slip. And it's in that moment that God calls you not to revenge, but to release. Because your assignment is too great to be tangled in emotional wars with secretly jealous people. You weren't called to prove your worth. You were chosen to walk in purpose. And purpose requires peace. If the enemy can't stop your blessing, he'll try to distract your focus through people who envy your light. That is why every time someone begins to act strangely when you win or distances themselves when you rise, don't panic. Pause and pray. Ask God to filter your circle through fire, because real loyalty survives heat. Real love does not envy. Real companionship rejoices when you rise. But when that's not present, let God remove what you cannot force to stay. Some people are only loyal as long as they are ahead. The moment God elevates you beyond their level of comfort, they turn cold. They begin to question your motives. They begin to criticize what they once praised. And it's not because you've changed, it's because your light now exposes their limitations. But this is what you must understand. Your growth will always challenge those who have refused to grow. And jealousy is often the sound of someone's soul being confronted by your progress. Do not let it intimidate you. Do not dim your light to make others feel comfortable in their darkness. You were never called to shrink. You were called to shine. You were never called to tiptoe around fragile egos. You were called to walk boldly with the favor God placed on your life. And no matter who gets uncomfortable, no matter who walks away, no matter who starts talking behind your back, know this: when God is for you, it does not matter who is secretly against you. Their whispers are powerless in the presence of God's will. Their schemes are dust beneath the feet of divine direction. And when you stay planted in faith, when you stay rooted in truth, when you keep your eyes on God and not on man, nothing they say or do can block what is meant for you. Let them watch, let them whisper, let them wonder, because your story is not written by their jealousy, it's written by the hand of Almighty God. When God begins to elevate you, when He begins to pour out His favor over your life, you must be prepared for the shift in people's hearts around you. Not all who start with you are destined to finish with you. Some were only assigned to the first chapter of your story. And the moment your blessings begin to multiply, their loyalty begins to fade. God allows this to show you something deeper, not about them, but about your own awareness, your spiritual maturity, your readiness to carry His favor with wisdom. You see, the jealous heart does not always speak in anger. It speaks in silence when celebration is required. It speaks in absence when support is needed. It speaks through the eyes that dim when you shine. And yet, God is showing you this is not for you to fear. This is for you to recognize, because elevation demands separation. Not everyone can handle your blessing. Not everyone can handle your peace. And not everyone can survive the weight of your calling. That is why God, in His divine mercy, begins to reveal hearts that cannot go where He's taking you. The jealousy you sense is not just human emotion. It is a spiritual signal. It is God whispering, "Pay attention." He is not exposing others to hurt you. He is exposing them to protect you. When someone grows jealous, they begin to distort the truth about you. They minimize your efforts. They secretly compete. They will imitate your moves, trying to match your purpose, not knowing that what you carry didn't come from the world, it came from God. And what comes from God cannot be copied, cannot be faked, cannot be stolen. When the source is divine, the fruit cannot be replicated. So instead of being offended, let your heart find peace in the reality that their jealousy is proof of your anointing. They wouldn't envy what wasn't blessed. They wouldn't resent what wasn't shining. Their irritation is a confirmation that God's light is on your life, and it is stirring up every hidden insecurity in them. But hear this, jealousy cannot curse what God has already called blessed. Their whispers cannot undo what God has written. Their bitterness cannot stop what God has begun. So don't waste your energy trying to change their hearts. Focus on keeping your own heart clean. Because the greatest defense against secret envy is a public walk with God. When you walk in integrity, when you walk in humility, when you walk in reverence before the Almighty, He becomes your shield, and He does not let the poison of others infect the purity of your purpose. God is not only your guide, He is your guard. He does not sleep. He does not overlook. He watches every move, every motive, every shadow that tries to hide near your light. And in due time, He will separate the wheat from the weeds, the loyal from the jealous, the genuine from the disguised. That is why when you feel someone secretly resents you, don't react. Refocus. Redirect your energy into prayer. Ask God to show you what you cannot see. Ask Him to cleanse your circle, to protect your spirit, to surround you with those who love you in truth. Because envy is not just about what you have, it's about who you are. It's about the peace you carry that they can't buy. It's about the resilience you show that they can't fake. It's about the presence of God in your life that makes you unshakable. And nothing confuses a jealous soul more than a person who keeps rising without bitterness. Let them wonder. Let them talk. Let them calculate your every step. Because what they don't realize is this: you are not operating in your own strength. You are walking under the authority of God. And no jealousy, no hidden resentment, no private betrayal can block the hand of God over your life. Let me tell you something that will shake the dust off your spirit. When God marks you for greatness, jealousy becomes a signpost, not a stumbling block. It is not there to break you. It is there to reveal what cannot go with you into your next season. Some of you are wondering why people who once cheered for you have grown cold. You're questioning why the ones who used to walk beside you now avoid your path. You're confused by the shift in energy, the change in tone, the lack of support. But I declare to you today, it is not your imagination. It is divine exposure. God is allowing that discomfort to pull the mask off those who were never for you to begin with. He is uncovering those who could walk with you in the wilderness but cannot handle your promised land. You see, some people are attracted to your struggle but repelled by your success. They were fine when you needed help, when you were broken, when you were doubting. But the moment God began to restore you, to bless you, to elevate you, their hearts shifted. Why? Because your healing convicts their excuses. Your rising reminds them of their stagnation. Your joy magnifies their bitterness. And instead of growing with you, they choose to grow jealous of you. But hear me now, your calling is not negotiable based on other people's comfort. God did not give you your gifts to tiptoe around fragile feelings. You were anointed for a reason. You were called, chosen, and covered. And anyone who cannot celebrate what God is doing in your life does not belong in the core of your journey. Let them distance themselves. Let them drift away. When God elevates, He separates. When He promotes, He purifies. Not everyone can walk at the speed of your purpose. Not everyone has the heart to endure the weight of your assignment. And jealousy is often the signal that God is preparing to shift your environment. So don't mourn those who leave. Thank God for the revelation. Thank Him for exposing what flattery tried to hide. Thank Him for removing hands that would have pushed you if they had stayed close. Because God sees the unseen. He hears the unspoken. He knows the true condition of every heart surrounding you. And He will never allow someone's secret resentment to sabotage your public rise. But there's something else you must understand. Jealousy is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet. It is subtle. It hides in passive comments, in the silence after your breakthroughs, in the absence of support when you step into something new. But God will make you sensitive to the spiritual atmosphere around you. He will stir your discernment. He will trouble your spirit when something is off. Not to make you paranoid, but to make you prepared. Because when you know who is not truly for you, you stop wasting your loyalty on unworthy places. You stop casting your pearls where they are not valued, and you start preserving your peace. You start walking with greater focus, with sharper wisdom, with deeper reliance on God. And that's where your real power begins, not in defending yourself from jealous people, but in surrendering fully to the one who fights for you. When your trust is in God, their opinions lose weight, their schemes lose power, their silence loses influence. Because the voice of God drowns out every whisper of the enemy. And in that sacred place of trust, you rise, not just in position, but in strength, in clarity, in divine authority. That is where no jealousy can touch you, no bitterness can infect you, and no hidden agenda can prevail against you. Because you are shielded by the one who never sleeps, never lies, and never fails. There is something deeply spiritual you must grasp, something that goes beyond surface level understanding. Jealousy is not just a reaction to your blessings, it is a spiritual resistance to your divine assignment. When God places His hand on your life, when He calls you to walk a path others fear to tread, the atmosphere around you begins to shift. You carry a light that exposes hidden darkness. You walk with a presence that stirs the unsettled spirits in others. You speak with a boldness that convicts those who live in compromise. This is not arrogance. It is the evidence of God's favor resting upon you. And those who have rejected growth, who have refused to surrender, will begin to resent the ease with which you carry what they cannot fabricate. They think it's luck. They assume it's manipulation. But what they're witnessing is the outcome of a soul fully aligned with God. You didn't climb by deception, you were lifted by divine hands. You didn't win by stepping on others, you were placed on solid ground by the grace and command of the Almighty. And no amount of whispering, backbiting, or scheming can cancel what God has decreed. But here's where you must remain vigilant. The jealous heart doesn't always come with a dagger. It often comes bearing gifts. It shows up in alliances that feel off. It appears in conversations laced with subtle doubt. It cloaks itself in phrases like, "I'm just trying to keep you grounded," or "Don't get ahead of yourself," when God is clearly calling you higher. They mask control as concern. They cloak envy in advice. But underneath it all is a discomfort with the speed of your obedience and the power of your transformation. And here is what God wants you to know. You do not need to apologize for what He's doing in your life. You do not need to shrink to make others feel comfortable in their complacency. Your humility is in your submission to God, not in your silence before man. So let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them analyze your every move, because they see the fruit, but they do not know the depth of your roots. They see the glory, but they did not witness the grind. They see the shine, but they do not understand the storm you survived. And more than anything, they cannot comprehend how you still rise when every stone they've thrown should have buried you. But here's the truth. They're not fighting you. They're fighting the God who stands behind you. And that battle, my beloved, they will never win. God never allows His vessels to be overcome by jealous spirits. He may permit the shaking, but He always preserves the chosen. And this is where your posture matters. Don't descend into bitterness. Don't retaliate in pride. Rise in faith. Let God fight the battles your eyes cannot see. Let Him handle the hearts that plot while pretending to pray. Your assignment is too weighty to be entangled with petty wars. Your focus must be sharper. Your discernment must be keener. Because jealousy left unchecked becomes sabotage. And God, in His mercy, will pull you away before it can reach you. That's why some doors closed unexpectedly. That's why some people disappeared without explanation. That's why certain relationships turned cold overnight. It wasn't rejection, it was protection. God heard the conversations you didn't. He felt the intentions you missed. He saw the snares before you walked into them. And in His perfect wisdom, He removed what you would have kept. So instead of mourning what's gone, praise Him for what was exposed. Give thanks that you were not blinded by charm. Rejoice that your destiny was preserved, even when your heart was momentarily broken. Because anyone removed by God was never meant to carry the weight of your calling. There is a sacred truth that many overlook in this age of superficial admiration and hidden envy. When God begins to distinguish you, He also begins to separate you, not to punish you, but to preserve you. There is a cost to carrying divine favor. There is a weight that comes with being chosen. And that weight does not sit well with hearts that are driven by comparison. Some people only loved you when you were silent, when you were still, when your light was dim and your future uncertain. But now, as you begin to step into alignment with what God has spoken over your life, their love begins to fade. Why? Because your movement threatens their stagnation. Your clarity highlights their confusion. Your obedience convicts their rebellion. And though their mouths may never say it, their actions echo what their spirits are trying to conceal. But don't you dare back down. Don't you dare question whether you are doing too much or rising too quickly. God does not operate on man's approval. His timing is sovereign, His wisdom is flawless, and His authority is absolute. If He has decided to lift you, no force of jealousy, no alliance of bitterness, no secret conversation behind closed doors can reverse what He has set in motion. But listen closely. God is not only lifting you, He is teaching you. He is training your eyes to see beyond smiles. He is sharpening your ears to hear what is not said aloud. He is fortifying your heart so it does not collapse under betrayal. Because there will be moments when you will feel the sting of those you once trusted. You will feel the cold distance from those you once defended. You will sense the silent tension that wasn't there before. And in those moments, your flesh may want to respond, but your spirit must rise instead. You are not just called to carry favor, you are called to walk in wisdom. God does not give discernment for decoration. He gives it so that you are not blindsided by deceit. He gives it so that you are not blindsided by deceit. He gives it so that you are not invest your energy into relationships that drain you, discourage you, and secretly despise your progress. And yes, it will hurt. It will hurt to see people you loved turn their hearts away. It will hurt to hear your name in rooms where your hands once served in love. It will hurt to realize that some celebrated your beginnings but cannot handle your becoming. But in that pain, God is present. In that silence, God is speaking. And what He's saying is this: I am enough. Let me be your portion. Let me be your defender. Let me be your comfort when the world grows quiet. You were never called to beg for loyalty from the jealous. You were never meant to earn approval from those who are intimidated by your purpose. Your identity is not rooted in the acceptance of man. It is grounded in the decree of the Almighty. And when God says you are blessed, you are blessed. When He calls you forward, no jealousy can hold you back. When He opens the door, no bitter hand can shut it. So walk with your head high, not in pride, but in peace. The peace that comes from knowing you are held, shielded, guided, and affirmed by the only one whose opinion truly matters. God sees your tears. He feels your ache. But more importantly, He knows your future. And He is clearing the path before you, not just of obstacles, but of people who cannot walk where you are destined to go. This is not a loss. It is divine alignment. It is the hand of God ensuring that your destiny is not delayed by the wrong company. So don't hold on to what He is trying to remove. Don't chase those He has exposed. Don't explain your growth to those who are committed to misunderstanding it. Let God be your vindication, and let your life be the evidence of His faithfulness. Now hear me, and hear me with your spirit wide awake. Not everyone who praises your name is sent by God. Some are sent to spy on your life, to gather ammunition for future slander, to sit quietly and take notes while pretending to clap. They are not cheering for you, they are studying you. They are watching not to celebrate your victories, but to find cracks in your confidence. And when they can't find any, they create rumors to fill in the gaps. But let me declare this with authority: God is not mocked, and neither are His people forsaken. God sees every eye that watches you with envy. He hears every word spoken in darkness, every whispered scheme, every subtle attack against your name. And in His perfect timing, He turns what they meant for evil into a platform for your testimony. You don't have to expose them. God will. You don't have to defend yourself. God already is. You don't have to retaliate. God is writing a story in your life so powerful, so undeniable, that even your enemies will have to acknowledge His hand. When jealousy rises, it often tries to imitate. It tries to walk like you, talk like you, create what you create, But it lacks one thing: the source. You were not made by popularity, you were shaped in fire. You were not made to be followed, you were chosen to lead. And when God is the architect of your journey, no counterfeit can compare. This is why God allows you to see the true condition of hearts that once claimed to support you. He is not being cruel. He is being kind. He is pruning your garden so that your harvest does not get choked out by hidden weeds. You must not mourn what was never rooted in truth. Some connections were seasonal, some friendships conditional, and some alliances were only useful as long as you remain small. But now that God is stretching you, increasing you, enlarging your territory, their true feelings are surfacing. Let them. Let the masks fall. Let the distance grow. Let the silence reveal what words never could. Because what you are stepping into requires purity. It requires clarity. It requires relationships that won't crack under pressure. God does not elevate while allowing contamination. He sanctifies your space before He multiplies your influence. And the jealousy you've been sensing is not a curse, it's a confirmation. It confirms that the oil on your life is real. It confirms that the glow they can't understand is divine. It confirms that you are no longer who you used to be, and that truth is making those who refuse to grow deeply uncomfortable. But that is not your burden to carry. You are not responsible for their discomfort with your purpose. You are only responsible for your obedience to God. And when you obey, even through misunderstanding, even through betrayal, even through loneliness, God rewards openly what was surrendered in secret. He will raise you up in front of those who tried to tear you down. He will bless you in plain sight, not to boast, but to show what happens when a soul stays humble and faithful despite the venom of jealousy. So keep walking, child of truth. Keep standing, even when it's hard. Keep moving, even when the road is narrow. Because God is not finished. He's only just beginning. And what He started in you will not be shaken by envious glances or secret resentment. What He ordained will remain untouched, covered, and protected by His mighty hand. Let your spirit grasp this eternal truth. When the favor of God is on your life, even your silence becomes a testimony. You don't have to argue with those who misunderstand you. You don't need to explain your purpose to those who resent it. You don't have to defend your growth to those who secretly hoped you'd fail. When you walk with God, He becomes your witness. He becomes your vindication. And those who are secretly jealous of you, those who smile at you while harboring resentment in their hearts, they are not hidden from Him. They may be hidden from you for a time, but never from God. He searches every heart. He weighs every motive. He sees every shadow hiding behind fake praise. And in due season, He reveals all things. Sometimes the revelation will come softly in the form of distance, in the quiet fading of a relationship you once thought was lifelong. Other times it will be loud, a betrayal so sharp it cuts deep into the soul. But whether silent or severe, it is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to free you. God is not trying to hurt you by exposing these people. He is trying to heal you from false alliances. He is trying to set your path straight, to remove distractions from your journey, to unchain your future from those who were never meant to carry your destiny. And yes, it's painful. It hurts to realize that those you once loved secretly competed with you, secretly doubted you, secretly envied what you were becoming. But here is the holy wisdom in the wound that pain is not wasted. It becomes the soil in which discernment grows. It becomes the fire through which your spirit is refined. And once God teaches you how to see beneath the surface, you will never be deceived the same way again. Your eyes will be sharper. Your prayers will be deeper. Your circle will be smaller, but stronger. And your peace will increase because you are no longer surrounded by those who smile while secretly hoping for your downfall. This is not a loss. It is a divine filter. And the more you are filtered, the more pure your path becomes. God is not interested in surrounding you with many. He is interested in surrounding you with the right ones. The ones who do not flinch when you shine. The ones who pray for your elevation when no one is watching. The ones who don't get quieter when you're celebrated, but louder in their praise because they know your success does not diminish theirs. That kind of loyalty is rare, and that is why God must remove the counterfeit before He releases the next level. Because jealousy does not just harm relationships, it poisons environments. It creates tension where there should be trust. It creates suspicion where there should be support. And if left unchecked, it becomes a snare that pulls you into cycles of doubt, fear, and emotional fatigue. But God, in His infinite mercy, will not allow you to be destroyed by what you're unaware of. He will intervene. He will trouble your peace until you notice. He will send signs. He will send conviction. He will remove certain people from your life, not because you were wrong, but because they were never right for the weight of where you are going. And when that separation happens, don't chase what God has cut. Don't try to repair what was built on fragile motives. Don't try to explain your heart to people who only ever saw you as competition. Rest in the truth that God knows. He knows your intentions. He knows your sincerity. He knows the prayers you prayed, the help you gave, the love you poured out without hesitation. And He also knows what was given back in return: envy, silence, betrayal. So He steps in not to punish them, but to protect you. And the moment you stop trying to fix what He is removing is the moment your peace will begin to flow like a river. You will breathe lighter, you will walk freer, you will worship deeper, because you're no longer entangled with silent enemies pretending to be friends. You're no longer tied to hearts that smile in your presence but wish for your fall in secret. God is not just saving your soul, He is saving your energy, your focus, your emotional strength. You have too much purpose to be drained by hidden opposition. You have too much light to be dimmed by quiet resentment. And that's why God is cleaning house, not just around you, but within you. He's calling you higher. He's refining your discernment. He's making you strong enough to stand alone when necessary. And He's reminding you that favor is not free. It attracts both support and attack. It invites both admiration and jealousy. But as long as God is with you, it does not matter who is against you. Your steps are ordered. Your future is protected. Your calling is secured. And no matter how many eyes watch with envy, they cannot stop what has already been written by the hand of the Almighty. Now lean in and hear this truth with the full weight of your spirit. Jealousy is not your battle, it is God's signal. It is not your assignment to expose every fake smile or confront every whisper spoken in secret corners. That burden does not belong to you. Your job is to stay close to God. Your calling is to walk in obedience, to guard your heart, to remain steadfast in the purpose for which you were created. The moment you start trying to fix the hearts of those who envy you, you step out of alignment with the one who called you. You were not made to beg for understanding, to shrink your voice for the comfort of others, or to dim your light so the insecure can rest easy in their darkness. That is not your responsibility. What God has placed inside of you is meant to shine, and when it shines, it will disturb the ones who are still hiding behind masks of pretense. But do not let their discomfort become your prison. Do not allow their jealousy to make you question whether you're walking in the right direction. If anything, their reactions are proof that you are. The stronger the resentment, the greater the confirmation that God is doing something mighty through you. And that should not intimidate you, it should embolden you. You do not carry your own authority. You walk under the covering of the Almighty. And when God is your shield, even 1,000 eyes of envy cannot touch what He has ordained. You must stop entertaining distractions disguised as relationships. Stop trying to hold together what God is trying to release. Some people are not meant to go with you into the next dimension of your purpose because they were never designed to carry the weight of your favor. They will collapse under the pressure of your growth. Their character cannot handle your clarity. Their spirit cannot tolerate the level of peace and purpose that you now live in. And so, God makes it clear. He allows things to happen, misunderstandings, distance, unexpected coldness, not because He is cruel, but because He is protecting the purity of your future. You must understand that growth is not just elevation, it is separation. Every time God lifts you, something must be left behind. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's old habits, and sometimes, painfully, it's people. But the ones who are truly meant to walk with you, those who are rooted in love, humility, and alignment with God, will never grow jealous of your progress. They will never resent your breakthrough. They will celebrate you in private and in public, not because of what you can do for them, but because they are secure in who they are in God. These are the ones you pray for. These are the ones you cherish. These are the ones God sends, not to compete, but to complete the mission He has assigned over your life. So don't grieve over who left. Don't lose sleep over who changed. Don't carry the weight of those who chose jealousy instead of growth. Bless them, release them, and rise, because there's still a journey ahead. There are still doors that God will open. There are still battles He will fight for you. And there is still more favor that He will pour over your life, not because you earned it, but because you surrendered to Him when others walked away. Your faithfulness in the quiet, your humility in the face of mockery, your strength in the presence of hidden hatred. These are the things that heaven honors. And while others may not see it, God sees it all. Every tear, every sacrifice, every moment you chose peace instead of revenge, every time you stayed silent when you could have exposed. These things are recorded not in the eyes of men, but in the sight of the Almighty. And in His perfect time, He will reward what was done in the secret places. He will honor you before those who doubted you. He will establish you in the very places they tried to pull you out of. Because what is rooted in God cannot be uprooted by man. So keep walking, keep believing, and keep your eyes fixed, not on the jealous hearts around you, but on the holy hand that sustains you. Now, as you take these words into your spirit, let them settle deep, because the journey ahead will demand your clarity, your courage, and your unwavering faith in God. You must understand by now that jealousy is not always loud. It does not always show its face through confrontation. Sometimes it lurks in the shadows, in the faint smirk when you rise, in the silent withdrawal when blessings overtake your life. But even in this, God is working. Every moment of resistance becomes a revelation. Every secret enemy becomes a stepping stone. God wastes nothing, not even the jealousy of others. He will use it to prune you, to teach you, to refine you, and to elevate you. Those who tried to sabotage you will become the spectators of what they couldn't stop. Those who once whispered against you will watch in awe as God sets a table before you. Not because you fought back, not because you argued, not because you sought revenge, but because you remained faithful, humble, and obedient. Because in the fire of jealousy, you chose purity over pettiness. In the presence of betrayal, you chose to pray. And that is what God honors. That is what heaven records. Your peace is not proof of weakness. It is evidence of divine strength. Your calm in the storm is not passivity. It is God's hand holding you steady. And now, as the fog clears, you begin to see the truth. Everything that left you, everything that turned against you, everything that withdrew in secret resentment, it was never the foundation of your future. It was never meant to carry the blessing. And now, without the weight of false loyalty, without the burden of hidden envy, you are free to walk into the next season of your life with boldness and joy. Free from the fear of betrayal. Free from the need for approval. Free from the subtle warfare of those who could not handle your light. And as you move forward, let your heart be grounded in this unshakable truth. God is your guide, your guard, your vindicator, and your provider. He sees the motives of every soul around you. He watches over every detail of your path. He orders your steps with wisdom that cannot be shaken. So lift your head, straighten your shoulders, walk with holy confidence, not arrogance, but divine assurance, because the jealousy of others cannot cancel the calling of God. Their envy cannot erase your purpose. Their silence cannot stop your voice. You were chosen, you were prepared, and you are protected, not by your strength, not by your reputation, but by the sovereign power of the Almighty. And when He says it is your time, no one can delay it. When He opens the door, no bitterness can close it. When He declares His blessing over your life, no curse can reverse it. So move forward in peace, knowing you are not alone. Move forward in strength, knowing you are being watched over. Move forward in boldness, knowing that the jealousy of man is powerless against the will of God. Let them wonder how you keep rising. Let them whisper about how you keep shining. Let them watch as God unfolds His promise in your life. Because your rise is not about revenge, it's about revelation. It's about proving that what God ordains, He sustains. That what God blesses, He protects. And that no hidden envy, no silent scheme, no quiet resentment can ever override the plan of the Almighty. So go forth with a heart clean of bitterness, with hands free of vengeance, and with eyes locked on heaven. For the path ahead is clear, not because it is easy, but because God walks with you. And when God walks with you, even the shadows of jealousy must step aside. You are chosen, you are covered, you are called. And now you are ready.